Hello, welcome to the garden. I'm a little bit turned, so you are in the same place as you normally are with all of the other um, editions of this little video series. Today I'm going to do blue, and I just made these ones. They're cyanotype with Cosmos, and this one is Cosmos also, and this is Japanese anemone. Some were under glass, and these ones were not. They're not pressed. I mean, they're pressed by the glass, but they're fresh. So yeah, it's just kind of an experiment today because we had some sun, and I know that that's not going to last forever given the season. So anyway, I thought, oh, that's appropriate that I stand in front of the blue drying prints there. I'm Lise-Lotte, by the way, if I hadn't mentioned already. This vase, I don't know who the potter was. My mom, I got it years ago, and I don't think it's from my mom, but I can't remember. So anyway, that's where we're at with the vase. So today I thought it would be fun to find all kinds of blue things in the garden. And you know, sometimes when you are kind of challenging yourself to look, it's amazing what you will find that you didn't even realize was there. And I was thinking about this eucalyptus that I've grown from a very small little plant that I got from Busy Bee when it was first a teeny tiny little plant. And by teeny tiny I mean this, and now it's like almost as tall as the house actually. There are two in pots. So this vase is going to go as a centerpiece. So I don't, and also because of the way the vase is, it kind of talks to maybe a lower arrangement. I do like height, but I think that I'm going to go a little bit lower this way. So when you're thinking about something for the table, you probably want it to go, if you have a round table, that's a different thing. But we're talking about a rectangular table, and so I'm kind of looking for more this shape as opposed to this shape, because this sort of gets in the way of you eating here and me eating here. So this is kind of the tablescape that we'll take, but we can still vary in sizes. I did not grow her from the very start. I got her at a garden center. She was sort of on her own, and I was like, really, you're here on your own? Would you like to come back with me and I'll get you a nice place in the garden? So there were actually two, and they were just in a random spot at the garden center, so I actually picked her up because I had seen a lot of those ones growing in France this summer all over, and they did very, very, very well in the heat. And also it looked as though they weren't really, I don't say taken care of, but I mean, I sort of baby things around here, taking a few little ants off, as well as some leaves. Anyway, so these ones I still have just the last little bits of another little ant. And that is the nice thing about this kind of arrangement, is that it can just kind of, you know, follow a little bit of a, not too much, oh, they're everywhere, not too much structure in that way. Now these are seed heads, and they have attached themselves to everything. They attach to me, my scarf, everything. Anyway, this was actually on, I always think of her as being the flower that was on the cover of my book. But she will grow here, and you can see there's a bit of a variety of color, from kind of a blue to a purplish blue. And I have been sort of, you know, taking things back down to the ground. She'll give, you know, more blooms like all summer. I've had her since really May, actually. So that's quite remarkable. She does take over. That is the one thing. And here's the bachelor button. I just was watching yesterday, Marita on her Instagram had shared that bachelor buttons are starting to go extinct in Britain, and I'm like, oh, that's terrible. I love bachelor buttons, and so I didn't grow up with them thinking that they were a weed. So I just love them. I grow them every year. I get excited about seeing them coming up in the greenhouse from seed, or out in the garden as these ones did. I am going to leave on this seed pod. You can see that there are actually 4 different stages in this one thing here. There's the bud, the full bloom, the spent bloom, and now where it's actually all of the birds have come and eaten this, eaten the seeds from here. But I just think at this time of year, it's kind of nice to leave that whole thing on. Don't think it takes away from it. And let's see, this one, I think I'll just take the blue from it. Put a little in here. Now, using a color vase and the flowers of the same color is also going to give you more of a read of the blue. So that is kind of a trick. If you don't have too many of something and you would like to emphasize the color, that is one way to do it. Little sweet pea, little, oh, now I'm forgetting her name. Somebody called it a Chinese forget-me-not. I'm not sure if that's true, but I think that was what the seed package said. Anyway, so there she is. We just had one of her. Tucking in a little sweet pea. And these little sweet peas, they are a blue. They're a pretty blue, I think. But I guess you could, yeah, I was gonna say, could you think of them as a purple? Maybe you could, but there. And that gives us a little bit of movement this way. And I'm leaving the seed pod, beginnings of a seed pod on there. It's just that time of year, and I think it kind of gives some interest. You're starting to get a little bit of scaffolding here, which means that a little bit of weaving this way, and so I can start to kind of use that so that I don't have to push the stem all the way to the bottom. It has to be in water, of course, but aside from that, it doesn't have to be sort of poked all the way down. This one was growing upside down, but you know what's great about that is that you can kind of have fun and add it to a vase. Obviously the tip is in the water, but it gives you a little bit of something on the side if that's what you would like. It's kind of different and fun. And you know what I might add to that, and this is not blue, but I cut it here because one of the prints just wasn't able to, it was getting pushed out. So I did actually take this little branch off. So maybe I'll kind of tuck that in here just so we're not just seeing one stem there, something like that. There we go. And here we go. This is almost a spent. There we go. Another sweet pea. Has a lovely scent, by the way. And here we go, the other one before I get to that. Some status, which you could think of as a purple as well, actually. And you know, this bouquet will be great for later. Like I could be taking some of the status. I could even actually dry these bachelor buttons, and what was the other, and the eucalyptus. So I could dry all of that for after. Here we go, something I just grew for the first time this year. It also does kind of read purple, doesn't it? I'm going to take off, in this case, I'm going to take off the, whoops, daisies. Now I've taken off too much. I was just going to take off the seed pods from this, just because to me they were just too brown for this. I didn't want to do that. I think I will use both stems and put them in the middle here. Get a little color in the middle and on either side, so that you can enjoy the flowers and I can enjoy the flowers on the other side as we have our dinner. Some lavender, which nicely grows kind of oddly at different, oops, daisies, I didn't put the bottom in. It doesn't grow straight, just this one part, which is kind of good. I kind of like it that way. Let's see, there we go. I think it is, I'm taking off the, I was going to say, I think it is kind of interesting when something is not quite straight. I like that in the garden. And I'll do 3. And I would also say I'm taking off the any leaves that are below the water line. Maybe I can tuck this one just here. I've really filled up the vase. That's another thing is these are, you know, we've picked them and put them in the vase, but they are still alive, don't forget. So I know that sounds obvious, but what I mean by that is they're still thirsty. So when you've picked just like this and then you tuck it in the water, don't forget to fill up the water, ideally every day. A lot of people do change the water every day. I don't, but you could. I have done that when I've needed something to last for a little while longer. Yeah, so I don't use any preservatives or anything, just nice clean water, like clean enough that you would drink it. So there we go, and I'll turn this. I just found these. They've been missing all summer. Well, not all summer, since I got back. There, so that's one side and the other. I don't want it to be symmetrical. I want it to have interest in different ways. And I'll step out of here so you can kind of see on the green background a little bit more of what we've got in the vase. Very simple, and really does read blue because of this. Do you see how that reads even more blue because of that? So that's another little thing, especially if you don't have too many of something and you really want to emphasize the color. That's a way of doing it. So it's a good little tip. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me in my garden, and I hope you have a wonderful day.